How's it going, everyone? Today is November 25th, 2019, and this is Thriving Bulls Trade of the Day. Good morning or afternoon, wherever you guys are coming from. This is Thriving Bulls Trade of the Day. We are looking at the Dow Jones futures, or Wall Street 30, which is the /YM on Thinkorswim. We're looking for a sell here. We've been having a huge buy off as of right now. And we're looking into shorting this particular asset, and I'll show you why. So if we go into our Thinkorswim chart here, and we go into the 5-minute, you can see that we've just been doing this huge rally this morning. So this was Friday, as you can see, and then this is all in today, which is Monday, and you can just see this massive rally that's taken place. Now, obviously this rally has to go somewhere. We're not quite sure as to where yet, but what we can assume is that we're getting closer and closer to this rally to end. So we have this nice engulfing candle. Ever since this rally, this is the very first red candle to have shown up. So we can see here that this is going to start to weaken. We may actually come back and test these new highs because we have the high of the day, which has just occurred. But we are seeing some massive divergence here. So what this can allow us to do is to be able to add on to some positions here. Let me go ahead and pause the video and do that because NADEX's new website's still acting up. All right, and we are back. All right, so sorry about that. So now we have actually created a new high of the day, but what we have formed is a really nice angle of divergence here, as you can see. Just a beautiful nice angle of divergence going downward, and then this is going upward, as well as stagnation here. So we can see that, which is really good. So if we go into NADEX, we can see we got our added positions here, another 20 positions, which made our average price, instead of 29, it made it 35, and now we're looking for 25 rather than 19. So we're only looking for this thing to really drop, not by much. So if we can get back down into this level here, we can start to see that. So I'm going to actually change this color here. So if we can actually get back into this level here, we should see that price actually really nicely go into 25, maybe even less into this price here, just because we only have 33 minutes left, which is not, it's quite a bit of time, but not too much time if this thing were to keep on rallying. But this is the first time that we've seen any sort of change in this trend. I mean, we've just been going up, and then we matched. If I go over here, we basically came down and matched this zone right here. We created a nice zone, and so we've come back up, and then we've tested this, and now we're heading downwards. So for the very first time, we've actually created some support, some resistance, and now support. So this is what we have created here now. So what we can only assume is that price is going to test this, test that, and then come back down and possibly break, and then test it this way and break it here. Because what we have done that you don't typically see is that if I go into the 5-minute chart, you can see it even more clearly. We formed a really big gap here. And typically when we form gaps, especially in these pairs, or assets rather, we fill them. We fill these gaps at some point. And instead of filling it at all, we had this just a lot of consolidation. We've just rallied. And so we have never once filled this gap yet. And so we can only assume that because this gap has come in, we're going to fill it. I mean, as you can see here, we had this gap right here, and it was actually a wick that filled it. Let me see if I can go even further in history here and show you even more. Let's see if we can go into the 15-minute and see some. They don't happen a lot when you have the settings for the extended hours, but if you take extended hours off, you see them a lot. So sometimes it takes its time to get there, but they end up filling. So we've just created this big gap and we haven't filled it yet. So we can only assume that we're going to be able to fill this gap in at some point, sometime today. So that's what we're assuming here. We are getting closer and closer to the holiday weekend or holiday. So, you know, markets are going to act a little funky. So you kind of want to, you know, pick your shots very, very smart, and you know, don't hold trades for a very, very long time. Try to get in, get out type situations, and just, you know, like I said, pick your shots very, very smart. So I'm going to go ahead and pause the video, and we're going to come back and see how this trade gets on. We're going to see if we end up expiring, or if we end up getting our trade for our pending order that we have here. We're only looking for $10 on each contract, so a little over about 400 bucks in total without the fees. So I'm going to go ahead and pause the video, and we're going to come back and see what happens. Alright, we are back, and as you can see, we have our price at $24.50 now. We had it at just 25 even, and we have fulfilled that price. So what I can show you here is why we were able to take the trade that we did was because if you see that we had this extreme uptrend pretty much all morning, and we had some nice, what we consider change control here, where we actually fulfilled this support and then we fulfilled this resistance. But what was happening is that price came back up and just retested this resistance, and now is heading back down. So what we can see is that we have these nice MAs, the red and the green, which is a 10 and a 20 MA, and we have a nice crossover right at our price at 27,997, which was roughly around the 28,000 whole number, because typically pricing will pretty much reverse around these whole numbers. It's where a lot of people have their take profits or their stop loss orders, things of that nature. So we were able to get out with our $10 worth of profit. We would have only had about 8 minutes left until expiry, but because we were so close to price, I mean, we're only about 5 ticks away. It's just still a little too close. So we were happy with our $10 per contract on this particular position. So we were able to just get out early and move on to the next trade or move on to the next day. Hope that you guys enjoyed this video. If you have any questions, please do not hesitate to comment in the comment section down below, or visit our website at www.thrivingbull.com. ThrivingBull.com, we have signals for NADEX. We also have an auto trader within the full access package, as well as deviation trading. If you guys have seen other videos with Thriving Bull on our YouTube channel regarding the deviation trading, I'm sure that you guys will see that and be interested in something like that. So again, if you have any questions, please visit our website at www.thrivingbull.com.